Looking, what sort of
Well,
job?
they're quite good because they know I'm doing my music and you know, we've nearly finished it now. They understand, you know, that things will take off and there's a lot of interest in it. So there's a lot of record companies that want to hear the stuff, but obviously it's not finished yet. So...
Yeah, but realistically, I mean, do you really expect that to happen? I mean, it seems to be the tried and tested route.
You haven't heard my music.
I haven't heard your music. I know, but I know Linda Lusardi tried it. Linda sort of sings on stage.
I've been singing for years.
Well.
I've been singing before I was modelling. I've been singing, you know, for God knows how long.
You should have brought some of it in today.
I wish I could have.
But I mean, you're confident as a singer.
Yeah, that's what I feel most confident as. You know, when I'm up on stage and I'm singing live, that's what I'm really, you know, makes me. I do want to do it so much.
Because Sam Fox managed it quite successfully, didn't she? I mean, she's been very successful. She might not have been quite so successful over here, but she's certainly been very successful abroad.
Yeah, she has. I wish I could be, you know, half as successful as what she's been, so...
Yeah. But what you didn't want to do again, really, truthfully, was after having given up page 3 modelling, was to go back and do it again. Now then, you got the photographs were printed in the front page of the newspaper, and then, really, you had to go and do it again for the Sun. You did a page 3, only 2 or 3 weeks ago. Was there something slightly humiliating about that for you, or...?
No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it, but I was just saying I won Page 3 Girl of the Year, and what can you do after you've done that? I got as far as what I could in that, and I thought, well, it's time, you know, I was still in the studio with my music, and I thought, well, I'm going to go full-time now and go into it, because I know things will happen. And I just did that picture, obviously, because it was worth my while, really.
I mean, you've lived a lot, you've seen a lot, you've done a lot. You're still only 25. Do you feel 25 after what you've been through?
No, I feel a lot older, to be honest with you, but...
I mean, I read one of the articles you did recently. Of course, there's been so much press about you, but I read that you said that you wanted to get married and have children.
That would be nice, but obviously I haven't met that right person yet. And plus, because of my music, I'm solely, like, involved in that and I haven't really met anybody.
What's your advice, though, to any young girls watching the programme today and saying, you know, it's the easy way to earn money, it's the easy way to get on, it sounds like a good life being a page 3 girl? Well,
you've got to realise as well it doesn't last forever and you do have to look after your money. But obviously you don't really get a lot. I mean, it's £90, as I said. A lot of girls don't get other work, they just do that. And other girls, a lot of the other girls do other jobs as well, so they're not just only doing...
Are you bitter about everything that's happened?
No, I've had a good time. I'm happier now, more comfortable with myself than I have been for years, so...
OK. Well, Maria, stay with us this morning because we have a lot of things to talk about. We've got a very interesting chat coming up with a chap who's had 4 operations involving plastic surgery. I'd be interested in your opinions on these because he said chest implants, amongst other things, so just on the page 3 subject. Coming up next, Penny?
I mean...
I'm sorry.
Curiosity
They're very firm.
They are firm. And the only thing, of course, is after 2 weeks...
Not natural, if you ask me.
After a while, they settle down. They take about 2-3 months to settle down. But it's like any form of implant. It's designed with exactly the same of your own form in mind. It's the same with the implant I have here in my chin as well.
Yeah, you've had the implant in your
That's
chin. What
right.
else have you had? A nose done?
I had my nose and the chin done at the same time. And I had a bit of excess fat removed from my waist when I had mere liposuction done.
Would you describe yourself as a vain man?
Well, in my dictionary, vanity means sort of an obsessive interest in your appearance or conceit. And no, because it's not so much vanity, it's an awareness that these things are there. They are comparatively straightforward to do, and they are. I think partly because I write about them, I saw and watched a couple of operations and realised how straightforward it was. And statistically, the chance of any problem is so, so tiny that I thought to myself, well, I like this, I like what I can do, and...
Obviously.
I mean, would you have it done, Maria?
She doesn't need it done, that's the...
Definitely
Reduction.
not. No,
No, maybe in a couple of years, say, after I've had children or something, and then, you know, everything, gravity takes over, then maybe I'd think about it. But not to have them enlarged, though.
And what would you think if you went out with...
I'd be so scared to have that done.
I think that's the thing. Fear beforehand is the thing which gets most people. They worry about scare stories, they worry about some of the most outrageous sort of hype that you often see against
Well, there's been a lot
the
of worry
subject.
about silicone implants, for goodness sake.
Indeed, but statistically, there is no proof at all that there is a problem. In fact, the statistics show that were prepared by the FDA themselves in America that, for instance, women with breast implants have almost exactly the same chance of breast cancer as women who haven't got breast implants. The whole thing is I'm afraid, in a way, a feminist hype against the whole concept of cosmetic surgery.
Let me ask you, I mean, you said that you're nothing against the principle of plastic surgery.
As long as it makes you feel good.
Right, right, as an individual. But how would you feel if the man in your life had this? I mean, would you regard him as a real man? I mean, you wouldn't know if what you were touching was real or plastic or... See?
Oh, I don't really know.
You see? Now, I mean, what about that, Damien? I mean, I mean, you know, anyone with you, are they really getting a real man? I mean, what are they getting?
Get out of the way, it's my turn to get in the mirror.
The age of equality. No, I can see how... This, of course, is the reason why most people don't talk. I mean, almost, bar me, 100% of the people who have cosmetic surgery don't talk about it. And this contributes, unfortunately, to some of the attitudes towards it. If you're prepared, like I am, to say, I've had this done, then some people will look at it and say, oh, that's not natural. But a year ago, I told 3 friends, oh, I've had cheek implants done. I haven't. But I told them, and they felt them and said, oh, they don't feel natural. Now, that is the trouble. That is, in fact, what happens in many ways with cosmetic surgery. If I didn't say anything, as most men who have had this, and something like 20,000 men have had it done in the States, they don't say, they just say, oh, I'm naturally like this. That, though, in a way, is more vain than talking about it.
And actually, it was your girlfriend who, in fact, paid for most of this.
Absolutely, yeah.
So where did you find her?
Yeah, we all need a girlfriend. What's her name? Who's going to pay for things like this? And what does she reckon to it?
Loves it. Thinks they're great. I mean, it's obviously my little thing.
Hobby.
Exactly, I suppose it is really, yes. Yes, it's obviously, I decide, you know, I like to look like that, and that, in a way, is a treat, if you like.
And how differently do you look from the way you did before? I mean, we have great difficulty finding pictures of you. Will we see before pictures on 3D tonight on ITV?
You'll see before of the chest, so you'll be able to tell with that.
But what about you as a person, the way you look? How different are you from what you were 5 or 6 years ago?
Well, the main difference is I no longer have a moustache. When I was asleep one day, my secretary came and cut half of it off because she hated it and thought it was so naff.
I think that's the least of your worries, really, Damien.
No, really, basically, that's a classic example. When I took my moustache off, I had to take the other half off. When I did that, yes, quite, yes,
This is like a major decision. Will I shave forget the pecs, will I shave the half of the moustache
But when
off?
I did, right, all my friends looked at me and said, oh, you look different. Have you been away somewhere? Nobody really notices. So, in essence, the differences are really subtle. The nose just no longer has the bump. The chin is just a little bit fuller. There's a little less fat round here. These, I suppose, if you look at the before and afters on the programme this evening, are probably the most, if you like, prominent change. But even some people would say, well, it doesn't look that much different, because I do a bit of weights anyway. And in fact, you need to do an operation.
Well, I've met you before, haven't I?
Of course we have,
I
yeah.
can't remember. That's how different you must have
Well, he was a man with a big chin and a hooky nose.
bigger
and
nose,
half a
flat
moustache.
flat chest.
And half a moustache.
Exactly, yeah.
Surprised you didn't remember.
Sorry. They're awful
Well,
now.
Damien, thank you very much indeed for sharing your experience with us. Everyone else can join in and watch it, go through the pain of the operation and the pleasure of the results. 7:30 tonight on ITV in 3D. So, there we
Lovely.
go.
Be watching that.
Yeah.
Braver
We'll be
man than
tuning
me. Anyway, right, coming up next, we've got the hidden attractions of office life. Know what I mean? After the break.